With Kingdom Hearts 4 possibly on the horizon next year, I thought what better time to jump back into the original Kingdom Hearts and go for that platinum trophy. Let's get into it. Our first step was to complete the main story of the game. Since I was playing on beginner mode, I wanted to go for the 3 trickier trophies to begin with. These were the Speedster Trophy, Undefeated and Unchanging Armor Trophy. For the Speedster Trophy, I had to defeat the final boss within 15 hours. I had no clue how long this game would take me on my first run, even on beginner mode, but I knew of an exploit that if you go beyond 15 hours, after 100 hours the timer resets anyway, so you can still get the trophy if you beat the game in 100 to 115 hours, so at least I had a backup if needed. Then, for the Undefeated Trophy, you aren't allowed to use any continues, which just means if you die, you just have to load up the last save you had. So as long as you remember to save as much as possible, it wouldn't be too painful if I died at any point in the game. And then for the Unchanging Armor Trophy, I wasn't allowed to change any of my equipment, so I was stuck with the basic Kingdom Key for the whole playthrough. Luckily, since I was on beginner mode, I started off with an EXP ring to help up with leveling faster. But before any of that, we start off in Destiny Islands. The first thing we had to do was talk to Kairi. She wanted us to collect all the supplies around the island. This included like logs, ropes, fish in the sea. I've always liked this section of the game that it eases you in nicely into the world of Kingdom Hearts. Once we got everything Kairi wanted, we went back to have a chat with her. Suddenly, after that, Heartless spawned around the island and we couldn't defeat it with our little wooden sword. So we got the Keyblade in hand and started smacking these fools. Then a mysterious door appears on the island, you go through and we have a boss fight. This is Darkseid. He's always in the Kingdom Hearts series and is always a pushover. Smack his hand a few times and he's down. Then we ended up in our first town of the game, Traverse Town. We'll be coming to this area a lot since it has the item shop, the accessory shops, and weirdly all the Final Fantasy characters. Whilst we're exploring the town, we keep narrowly missing Donald and Goofy, but eventually we team up with them and the real game begins. We have a quick little boss fight with guard armor, smack his body parts and he goes down easy. Then we left the world and got onto the world map. This is our first interaction with the Gummy ship. We'll come back to this later in the trophy hunt, but these parts you just focus on blasting enemies, get to the world map. Later on we'll have to do missions, customize the ship, but we'll focus on that later on. Now we're in Alice in Wonderland. In Alice in Wonderland we had to prove Alice was innocent, so we just had to find some evidence in the forest. You can find up to 5, but I ended up just finding 1 or 2, because that doesn't really matter at the end of the day. You'll pick what evidence you want to show. If you're lucky you'll be a Heartless. Unluckily for me I picked Goofy. So you do like this weird little boss fight with a tower. Then it was on to the actual real boss. This provided the first challenge in the game. Annoyingly, this is where I got my first game over. And since I was going for the Undefeated Trophy, I had to load up my last save. And yeah, I didn't save since Traverse Town, so everything I did for the past like half an hour, I just had to redo. At least I learned my lesson early on in the playthrough. Always save as much as you can. So yeah, I'll try not to die here, even though I've saved in the room prior. But this run went a lot more smoothly. Once we returned to the world map, we got our first trophy, the Rabbit Hole, for stealing the keyhole in Wonderland. Then we were off to Deep Jungle. Tarzan is one of my favourite Disney films, so I always love coming to this area. Sadly, it doesn't return in any of the future Kingdom Hearts games, due to copyright reasons, so I made the most of my time here. We take down the Sabor for killing Tarzan's parents. I will never forgive him for that. Then it was on to the final boss fight, Clayton. I remember the kid, this took me a long time. At this point in the game you don't have cure, so you only can rely on potions. The key to this boss fight, just focus on Clayton. There's going to be this huge chameleon, Heartless. But as long as you just focus on Clayton, every time he gets knocked off the chameleon, it shouldn't be too bad. I think I did this on my first try as well, which I was super happy with. Because I was quite anxious going to the boss fight, that was going to take me so much time. After that was done, Tarzan gave me a Keyblade I wouldn't be able to use. We got Red Trinity and we got another trophy. Since we were done with Deep Jungle, it was time to go back to Traverse Town and actually seal up the keyhole there. It was just a rematch with guard armor with a cannon mode. Once he was taken down, we seal up the keyhole and get Where the Bell Tolls trophy. Then it was on to the next Disney Worlds. The next chunk of the game was all pretty repetitive. It was all super fun. We ended up going to Agrabah, Atlantica, Halloween Town, Neverland. We just had to fight the boss that was there, team up with the hero, whether that be Aladdin or Peter Pan. But that's all we had to do, and then we got trophies for each of those Disney worlds we saved. Now that all the Disney worlds were over, we were in Hallow Bastion. In this section of the game, you're joined by beasts from Beauty and the Beast, and you lose your Keyblade for a little bit, but it doesn't take too long for you to get it back. Not long after, you're back with Donald and Goofy, and you're taking down Riku for our first mini boss fight with him. Then it was time to face the main antagonist in terms of Disney villains, Maleficent. Maleficent is always in the Kingdom Hearts series, doing something sneaky in the background, but for our boss fight, you just use the gravity spell to bring our platform down and just keep smacking her. Be patient, hit her when you can, and it should be done before you know it. Once you take it down normal mode, it was time for our dragon mode. Dragon mode is definitely a lot harder. All you can really do is smack her in the head, and you can't really get many combos going, only a few air combos. As long as you use an arrow and try and heal as little as possible, you should have enough magic to last you the entire boss fight. She'll stomp on the ground, shoot fire, but before you know it, she'll be down. Now this part I was dreading the most out of the entire playthrough. When I first played this on the PS2 and I was like 11 or 12, Riku destroyed me. I could never ever beat him. I think looking back at it, I didn't really equip any abilities or really know what spells I should be using as well. So this fight was definitely a lot harder in my head when I was younger. I was able to come back to it years later and beat him. On this playthrough, he was a breeze. I don't think I even equipped guard at this point, and it was my first fight with him. So I thought, worst case scenario, if I can't beat him, I'll just go back and equip guard. But luckily, during this first fight, I didn't really need it. Just a few smacks, recharged my MP, used the arrow, cure where I needed to, and before I knew it, Riku was down for the count. After you fight Riku, you become a Heartless for a little bit and you have to find your way back to the others. Once you do, Kairi will restore you back to being a real boy and you continue your adventure. Then after that, you end up in Traverse Town, talk to the Final Fantasy gang for a little bit. Then you obtain the Oathkeeper Keyblade, which earns you another trophy. After a quick chat with Belle and earning the End of the World trophy, you can go to the last world in the game. This world just requires you to fight a bunch of Heartless. This helps you level up in the end game and helps you to be at a good level to fight the final bosses in the game. The Chernobog boss fight gave me a really tough time. The fire attack was just relentless and I just kept dying over and over. Looking back, I should have used arrow more, or arrow was always finishing by the time that fire attack came up, so I was always dying to it. Eventually I was able to get through those fire attacks and defeat him. After that, it was time to face the final boss of the game, Ansem. I didn't really have too many issues with the first couple rounds of the Ansem fight, but once you get through those, you get into its final form. Once I got into the endgame, I knew the Speedster trophy was actually super simple to get, as long as you just mainline through the story. Because I think at this point I'm like 11 or 12 hours into the game. However, after doing the final boss a few times, I realized trying to do 0 continues and having the basic Keyblade was just going to be too hard. So I decided on 2 boss runs focusing on each of these separately. All I had to do was just reload my endgame save and get both of these trophies. I'm really happy I went for this option instead of struggling to get 3 trophies at once. I don't know why the PlayStation didn't record these 2 trophies, but here's proof I got them anyway. Now I had finished the game, it was time to go back and basically 100% the game. First thing I did was jump into the Coliseum and complete all the cups. Since I was high leveled, I didn't have any issues with the cups at all. Sprinkled through the cups there are some cool boss battles including Cloud, Leon, Hercules, Hades, and to end it off it was the Rock Titan, which was one of the most pushover bosses I've ever experienced in Kingdom Hearts. Just smacking her feet a couple of times, jump over to his head, give him a few smacks, before you know it, he is defeated. And with Hades Cup completed, we get the Coliseum Champion Trophy. Then I also got the Junior Hero Trophy for completing Olympus Coliseum. Then I made a start on Synthesizing, which is definitely one of the most time consuming parts of this Platinum Trophy. Since I had 0 clue at the time what enemies I needed to focus on, or exactly how many times I needed to farm the same items over and over and over again, this step probably took a little bit longer than needed. My game plan was just to focus on one synthesis item at a time and get whatever materials I needed one by one. But to save yourself a lot of time, what you want to do is fight the same 6-7 like rare enemies. These include the Chimera, the Pot Scorpion, Sniper Wild, Grand Ghost, and the Mushrooms. Trust me, you're going to know the Mushrooms very well by the end of this Platinum Trophy. Whilst you're synthesizing all these items in the game, you're going to earn multiple trophies along the way. And with all the items synthesized, I got the Synthesis Master Trophy. Whilst I was synthesizing all the items, I really didn't have any issues with rare item drops. However, if you want the Master Defender Trophy, you need to attain all shields in the game. And there is one shield in the game that is dropped by this defender enemy that has a 0.2% chance of dropping. So you better get lucky and hope you don't have to fight this enemy 1,000 times. Once I got that shield and I obtained the Mighty Shield in Neverland, I got the Master Defender trophy. The next step was to take down the secret bosses in the game. The first one I went for was the Ice Titan, who you can find in the Coliseum. He's quite relentless with his attacks, constantly dropping ice blocks on your head, but as long as you stay patient and deflect back the icicles he shoots back from you, you'll have no problem in defeating him. And when you defeat him, you'll earn the Frosty Giant trophy. The next boss I faced was the Phantom, who you can find in the Clock Tower in Neverlands. This boss fight revolves a lot around magic. You have to use your stop spell to stop their hands from moving. This will prevent your party members from being knocked out. Then it's just using the right spell that corresponds with the colour underneath him. Once you get the hang of it, it's quite an easy and fun boss battle to do. And once he's defeated, you'll earn the Cloaked Shadow trophy. Then we flew into Agrabah to defeat Kurt Ziza. This boss is actually named after a real life person who won like some Kingdom Hearts competition back in the day. There's not much to say about this boss really. All you have to do is smack the glowing orbs on his hands, smack his head once it comes out, and then he's done. And then you'll get the Sandy Blade trophy. Then it was time for the last secret boss, a mysterious Star Wars character. I'm just joking, it's the villain in the next game. But he does weirdly use lightsabers or light beams for some reason. So my strategy for this fight was to use Bambi. This would ensure to have enough magic to last me the entire boss fight. All I had to do was use arrow and just stay super aggressive. I never really learned his boss pattern, to be honest. By staying aggressive, I just kept lowering and lowering health bar, and eventually I did it. This earned me the He Who Doesn't Exist trophy. I'll see you in the next game. So I was in the middle of editing this video and I forgot about the main secret boss. So probably the biggest secret boss of the entire franchise, the one-winged angel himself, Sephiroth. He's the main secret boss. This is how I fought him. So in the Sephiroth fight, there's no way of getting around it. You just have to learn his moves and know how to counter them. I watched a super helpful guide from KH Guides. If you're struggling, give it a watch. It breaks down every single move that he can throw you and how to avoid them, or how to counter and get a few attacks on the way. Now there is one attack you have to look out for. It's like a magic spell that will just knock out all your health and magic. Once you see it, run to him and smack him so he doesn't get that attack on you. Because if he's able to get it on you, you're done. Now in the later stages of this fight, he throws out a few new attacks. One where like he throws meteors at you. One where he has these orbs that will try and target you. As long as you focus on Sephiroth and don't panic too much, you'll be completely fine. And you'll be able to take him out and earn that one-winged angel trophy. At the end of this fight, I got 3 more trophies. Blade Master for obtaining all the Keyblades, Professor for collecting all the character entries, and Searcher for collecting all the answer reports. After that, it was time to jump into the danger zone and get all the Gummy Ship mission trophies. The Gummy Ship is how you get between the different worlds. You can customize it and then go on different missions. My first Gummy Ship trophy was Top Gun. This was just completing all the routes in the game, so that just means I've travelled to all the worlds. A super easy trophy you can get is called Customizer. This is just for customizing your ship and giving it a name. Then each world has their own Gummy Ship missions called 1, 2 and 3. Don't worry, you don't have to do all of them. As long as you do one of each, you'll get 3 separate trophies. So mission 3 in Traverse Town really stood out. You have to make your way through the entire route from Bastion to Traverse Town without being touched once. So you design a ship as small as possible and try and squeeze your way around. It seems easy, but trust me, it goes on forever and ever and ever and ever. But eventually, when you get it done, you'll earn the Ace Pilot trophy. Next up, I went for the Gummy Ship Collector trophy. This required me to obtain 30 or more Gummy Ship blueprints. You can get these by doing missions or by talking to Geppetto and Pinocchio. They'll give you a few as well. But once I found my 30th blueprint, I got the trophy. And whilst I was trying to get that last blueprint, I got the Flying Ace trophy for shooting down over 2,500 enemies. Next up, I'm going to be talking about all the miscellaneous trophies I was getting trying to complete Jiminy's Journal and trying to get to level 99. So I went back and did one of the optional worlds in this game, 100 Acre Woods. You just do mini games with Winnie the Pooh and his friends. Once you've done all this, you'll get the Pooh's Friends trophy. And I also got the Storyteller trophy for completing all the story entries in Jiminy's Journal. Whilst I was grinding to level 99, I got multiple trophies along the way. I got Rags to Riches for obtaining 10,000 money. I got Treasure Hunter for opening 100 chests. I got Heartless Hunter for defeating over 2,000 Heartless. Then I got the Top Dog trophy for collecting my last Dalmatian. These are scattered throughout all the world, so always keep an eye out for them. Then whilst I was in Agrabah, I finally got to level 99, which earned me the level master trophy. Then I headed back into the Coliseum to get some of the smaller challenge trophies. I got Supreme Soloist for just completing a solo challenge. I got Time Attacker for completing a time trial. I got the minigame Maniac trophy for collecting my last minigame in the Jiminy Journal. And then when I found my last Trinity mark in Wonderland, I got the Best Friend trophy. And now Jiminy's Journal is finally complete, I got the Record Keeper trophy. So now I've done absolutely everything possible in beginner mode. It was time to start a completely fresh playthrough on Proud mode. Have I ever done Proud mode on KH1? No. No, I haven't. So I was scared. I didn't know how hard this is going to be. You take more damage, you deal less damage. So I didn't think it was going to be that fun. I was worried I wasn't going to be able to do this. And was it hard? No, it was actually completely fine. I didn't really have that many issues. I breezed through most of the game. And even bosses at the end I struggled with in the beginner mode, I did so much better. I think just knowing the game so much more, going through 100% how the mechanics work, what's the best way to deal with hard bosses, I breezed through Proud mode no issue. And before I knew it, I did it. I completed the game. Then after watching the most epic secret ending to any video game ever, we got our last few trophies. We got a trophy of completing the game on Final Mix or higher. We got our Proud mode trophy. And most importantly, we got the Platinum trophy for Kingdom Hearts 1. This Platinum trophy was so much fun. I was not expecting to fall in love with the original Kingdom Hearts so much. I loved 2 and 3, but I always thought the first one was a bit... It didn't age as well, but going back, this one is equally as good. I'm so surprised. I want to start getting more Kingdom Hearts Platinum trophies on the road to Kingdom Hearts 4. Hopefully I can get all of them. I don't want to promise that, but I feel like it could be possible. The Kingdom Hearts hype is so real right now. Talks of the movie, the mobile game Missing Link. I just played the beta and had so much fun. And Kingdom Hearts 4, hopefully next year. But if you enjoyed this video, you enjoyed me getting this Platinum trophy, hit the like button, hit subscribe for more Platinum trophy videos. I love making these videos. I love getting Platinums. I love playing Kingdom Hearts, so this one was a win-win for me. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good day. Be awesome. See ya.